Welcome back to NBA Cinema. So I want to talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves a little bit. We saw the issues with Rudy Gobert and Julius Randle at the end of the game where uh, Gobert didn't get an entry pass that he wanted, didn't move out the 3 second area down the stretch, got a 3 seconds on purpose. Then Julius Randle came down the next time and passed him the ball like, here it in. And it went off of Rudy Gobert's hands. And so you see those issues there. Um, you also see people saying that Julius Randle just isn't a team player, doesn't try on the defensive end. Dante DiVincenzo has become unplayable for what they like to do. But the largest conversation around the team is Anthony Edwards and the volume of 3-point shots he takes. And he takes over 11 a game. That is the most he's taken in his NBA career. Double digit threes for a play. Now he's shooting 43% from behind the arc. So he can make them. But this is also, the third least free throw attempts he's gotten per game this year. And he was trending upward last year in that category when he was shooting just, a shade under 7 threes a game. Now he's shooting a shade above 11. And I think bailing out the defense, that's a legit gripe that I've been hearing people say about him. Because when Anthony Edwards is coming downhill, he is keeping the defense on his heels and making, taking some of the best rim protectors or best defenders out the game because they can't stick with them. And I'm not just simply saying come downhill. I'm saying make the game, simplify the game. Don't try to score with everything in front of you and taking bad threes and bailing the D out. Even when you make it, you bail the D out because they're able to not pick up fouls and things like that. But we're gonna listen to what these former NBA players had to say. Let's peep it.
I don't get the thought press sometimes. Like, they're going under because they're trying to beat you to the basket. You think they're going under so you can shoot the jumper. Yeah. I think he needs to look at the game on what they're doing and understand that just because someone sags off doesn't mean take that open shot. I don't want to guard you. I can't guard you. Yeah. You doubled your three-point attempts, but you're only averaging 2 more points. If you're shooting more threes, that means you're not getting to the free throw line and you're not getting, you're taking away from something that was guaranteed before. So if you're still shooting the same amount of free throws, then doubling your threes, you will be averaging about 30, 31, but you're only averaging 2 more points, taking 5 to 6 more threes. So that means you're taking away from something. So I don't even have to look at what you're taking away, but if you're taking that many more shots, either your shooting percentage is down or you're not shooting as many free throws as you used to.
Now you're more of a conventional, traditional size when you add Julius Randle, but something's missing right now because you would think on paper, Brendan, they would be a better defensive team, right?
Right.
Because Carl struggles in pick and roll and things like that, but they're struggling across the board. And then you said something to me earlier. Do I like Anthony Edwards taking all these threes? And even though he's shooting a good percentage, what people don't understand, if I'm guarding Anthony Edwards and he want to shoot threes, God bless you. Why? When he gets downhill and starts spraying the ball or getting to the basket, he's putting me in foul trouble. He's getting his team in the bonus. He's opening up other opportunities for his teammates. Even if he shoots 40%, it's better for me to have Anthony Edwards playing at the three-point line than let him play in transition and get downhill.
And that's tough for a team within itself because your best player is changing the identity of who he is and how he plays. Anthony Edwards is one of the better attackers in the league that we had last year. This year, he is shooting basically 12 threes a game. That's the bad news. Now, the good news is he's hitting 45% of them, and he said he's going to keep shooting. That is something that he wants to be a staple in his game. So as he changes his game, his team has to adapt to that. And then obviously Julius replacing Karl Anthony Towns, that's a learning curve within itself.
Man, what would you say to somebody who said you shoot too many threes?
So Gilbert Arenas had a good point about Anthony Edwards. He's seeing guys go under the screen, and he thinks it's because they don't feel like he's a shooter, and he's letting them fly. Whereas he probably needs to, get downhill. I think Anthony Edwards needs to learn to be better without the ball in his hands, get some easy ones. Um, I think he's selling himself short as a player. You look at his his 3-point field goal attempts and his free throw attempts. Those attempts should be flipped. They should be reversed. He should be shooting 11.2 free throws per game, and he should only be shooting, whatever it is, free throws he's getting a night. Because it's unacceptable for someone like him to be shooting the amount of free throws he's shooting. He's far too talented for that. 4.6 free throws per night, that should be the amount of threes you're taking. And he should look at that in that way. I want to see Anthony Edwards really embrace that. He's done a lot of talking about how it wasn't skilled back in the day and all that. And I would challenge anybody who thinks Anthony Edwards is a better 3-point shooter than Michael Jordan, because there's a narrative Jordan couldn't shoot threes. I want you to go back and look at the years that Jordan had any volume as far as shooting around 3 a game. You'll see those percentages increased up to, 37, 38%, somewhere around there. So he was a good 3-point shooter. The years that he might have shot 19 or whatever, he didn't probably, Anthony Edwards probably taking the amount of threes he took in those years in 3 or 4 games. And I ain't even joking. So that's the difference there. The volume. The volume will make you a better 3-point shooter unless you just hit. If you go 3 for 3 or whatever in a season from 3, that's one thing. But the volume and the attempts is what's going to make the percentages go up. And I'm glad Anthony Edwards has that in his repertoire, but it needs to be another weapon, not a weapon that he's settling for as often as he's settling for. I don't like to see Wembanyama, so I'm not picking on um Anthony Edwards just chucking threes. I don't like Wemby chucking threes. I don't really like to watch many of the games where guys are just chucking bad threes. There's nothing wrong with you knocking down an open three, but I don't even like when Tatum and Brown gets to, or Boston as a team gets to where they're chucking three after three after three after three after three. Because a lot of times they aren't smart shots. Yeah, you can get hot and have a historic night, but that also leaves the window open for you not to play your best basketball. And so I would like to see guys who have more to offer in the game. I don't like the analytics. I don't like the way that the game is going. And it's the reason the product is not being watched as much. If you don't believe me, just look up the ratings right now, because people don't want to see that. They want to see basketball, not just threes being chucked. And I think Anthony Edwards was one of the guys who could have started to bring that back, but he's getting up over 11 a game. Who would have thought to see a player with his explosive ability settle for so many threes? I want to know what you guys think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.